Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we sift through the sources to bring you the insights you really need.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're heading to Southeast Asia, to a place that's maybe not on everyone's radar, but is absolutely fascinating, Brunei, Darussalam.
That's right, often called the Abode of Peace.
Mhm.
And it really is a place of, well, interesting contrasts. It's geographically tiny, just under 6,000 square kilometers tucked away on Borneo.
Right, surrounded by Malaysia and the South China Sea.
Exactly. And a small population, too, only about 440,000 people. But, and this is the key thing, it punches way above its weight economically.
Yeah, hugely wealthy. And it's a unique setup, a constitutional monarchy.
It is. And that wealth, combined with a very strong Malay Islamic identity, shapes pretty much everything.
So our mission today is basically to give you the full picture. We've got sources covering everything from, the mind-boggling royal wealth and how the country's run,
To the very specific social rules you need to know as a visitor, and crucially, the practical stuff, how to actually get around where to stay.
Exactly. We want to explain that central dynamic, this incredibly generous welfare state for citizens funded by oil versus the very tight control over culture and politics.
It's a balancing act, for sure.
Okay, let's dive in.
Right, so if you want to understand Brunei, you absolutely have to start with the Sultan, Hassan al-Bolkiah.
He's been ruling for a very long time, hasn't he, since the 60s?
Yeah, since 1967, over half a century. That level of continuity brings a kind of stability you just don't see in many places.
And it's not just a figurehead role. Our sources really emphasize the concentration of power.
Oh, absolutely. He's not just the head of state. He's also the head of government.
Okay.
And prime minister.
Yep.
And minister of defense. And minister of finance. And minister of foreign affairs.
Wow. So basically all the really critical jobs.
Pretty much. It means decision-making is, well, incredibly centralized. Things can happen very quickly when policy needs implementing.
And I guess that contributes to that feeling of stability you mentioned. No real opposition to speak of.
That's right. And the economy is almost entirely fueled by oil and gas. Those natural resources are the bedrock.
The backbone, yeah.
Which insulates them, to a degree, from the kind of political ups and downs other countries face.
And that economic engine translates into some serious numbers. We're talking a really high standard of living.
One of the highest in Asia, yeah. The GDP per capita back in 2018 figures was around 30,000 US dollars.
Which is substantial. And that wealth, crucially, means a tax-free life for citizens.
Exactly, which leads us to what some sources call the wealth paradox.
Okay, what's that?
Well, you hear high GDP per capita, especially from oil, and you think, Dubai, maybe? Singapore? Gleaming skyscrapers? Hyper-modern infrastructure?
Right, glass and steel everywhere.
But you don't really see that in Bandar Seri Begawan, the capital, BSB. There aren't many huge towers. The infrastructure's good, clean, well-maintained.
But not flashy.
Not in that same corporate globalized way. The wealth is displayed differently. It's channeled into cultural and religious statements.
Like the mosques and palaces.
Precisely. Grand mosques, opulent palaces, often with domes covered in actual gold leaf. Not just paint, real gold.
Wow.
So it gives the city this, traditional, almost storybook feel, rather than a purely modern one. It feels like a deliberate choice, prioritizing Malay Islamic tradition over just building upwards.
That's a fascinating distinction. Wealth doesn't automatically mean looking like every other rich city.
Exactly. But for the average Bruneian, the real impact of this wealth is felt through the subsidies. They are, frankly, incredible.
Okay, let's break those down. First off, no income tax.
Zero. You earn it, you keep it.
Then education.
Completely free, from kindergarten all the way through university. And if you need to study abroad, the government often covers everything. Tuition, living costs, travel.
That's amazing. And healthcare, too.
Same deal. Totally free. And if you need specialized treatment overseas, they'll arrange it and pay for it.
Okay, but the housing one. This is the one that really blew my mind in the sources.
It's staggering, isn't it? Citizens are entitled to basically free housing.
Not rent subsidies, but owning a home.
Owning a home for life for a nominal fee of $1 Brunei dollar.
$1.
$1. And sometimes, apparently, they even give you the dollar back after a few years.
That's unbelievable. It guarantees everyone has shelter and security.
It's a core part of the social contract. Now, you have to contrast that widespread benefit with the sheer scale of the royal extravagance.
Right. This is where it enters legendary territory. The Sultan's Palace, Istana Nurul Iman.
Guinness World Record holder. Largest residential palace on the planet. 200,000 square meters.
200,000. That's hard to even picture. How big is that compared to, say, Versailles?
About 4 times the size of Versailles. Way, way bigger than Buckingham Palace or the White House.
Okay, get this. The details are wild.
Yep.
Sources say 1,788 rooms,
257 bathrooms.
5 swimming pools, a banquet hall for thousands, its own mosque.
And the materials. Gold, diamonds, imported Italian marble everywhere, apparently. It's on an almost unimaginable scale.
But maybe the most famous part is the car collection.
Ah, yes. The cars. The numbers are just mind-bending. Reports suggest nearly 7,000 cars in the royal garages.
7,000. Supercars, right?
Oh, yeah. Bespoke Rolls-Royces, countless Ferraris, legendary stuff like the McLaren F1, the Porsche 962 LM, some of the rarest, most valuable cars ever made.
And the estimated value.
Sources put it at over $5 billion.
Billion. With a B.
With a B, just the car collection. Think about the logistics of just maintaining 7,000 highly specialized vehicles.
It's insane. It's the ultimate symbol of that oil wealth, I suppose.
Okay, so moving from the money to the actual feeling of the place. When you visit Brunei, you quickly realize all that wealth doesn't create a loud, flashy party atmosphere.
No, the first impression seems to be quietness, stillness.
Very much so. It's remarkably tranquil compared to other big Asian cities.
Yeah.
As a deeply Islamic country, public life follows strict codes.
So no bars or clubs.
Absolutely none. Alcohol is forbidden for locals. Entertainment is more focused on family, community spaces, cultural stuff.
But there's a rule for visitors, right? The alcohol caveat.
Yes, specifically for non-Muslim visitors, you are allowed to bring in a limited amount.
What's the limit?
2 bottles of spirits or wine and 12 cans of beer. You have to declare it when you arrive.
And the key thing is where you can drink it.
Strictly in private. Your hotel room, basically. Maybe a private home if you're invited. Public consumption or being drunk in public, absolutely forbidden. Big penalties.
Right. It's an allowance, not an open invitation.
Exactly. It's about accommodating visitors without compromising their core values.
And that theme of respect runs through everything, especially dress codes.
Definitely. Modesty is key. For men, long trousers are the norm. For women, it's important to avoid short skirts, tight clothes, sleeveless tops in public.
It's about showing respect for the local culture.
Precisely. And when visiting mosques, especially those incredible ones we talked about, the rules are very clear.
Women need to cover up.
Yes, long black robes and headscarves are required. They usually provide them at the entrance, so you don't need to bring your own. It's just standard practice for entering a sacred space.
Beyond clothes, there are other things to be aware of, like the left-hand rule.
Ah, yes, crucial point. In Malay and Islamic culture, the left hand is considered unclean.
So you always use your right hand.
Always. For eating, for shaking hands, for passing anything, money, objects. Using the right hand is a sign of respect. It's a simple thing, but important to remember.
And photography. You need to be careful there, too.
Yes. Always ask permission before taking photos of people. Our sources were very clear. Avoid photographing women unless you have explicit permission. It can be seen as quite disrespectful.
Okay. What about the aroma rules? This one sounds interesting.
Yes. It's quite specific. Because of their really strong smell, fruits like durian and sometimes even certain types of mangoes aren't allowed inside hotels or other shared indoor spaces.
Really? Just because of the smell?
Yep. The intense odor is considered a bit disruptive in enclosed areas. It shows a level of consideration for others that's, quite deeply ingrained.
That sense of order extends to the environment, too, doesn't it? Brunei seems incredibly strict about cleanliness.
Extremely strict. They have some of the toughest environmental laws anywhere. This isn't just about keeping things looking nice, it's serious social enforcement.
What kind of penalties are we talking?
Significant ones. Littering, cutting trees, even picking flowers is strictly prohibited. You could face fines up to $4,000 or even prison time up to 2 years, depending on how serious it is.
Wow, they really don't mess around.
No. It fosters a real sense of responsibility. Public smoking is also heavily fined, again, reinforcing that focus on public health and a clean environment.
And greetings between people.
Also needs care. Physical contact between men and women who aren't related isn't appropriate.
So no handshakes between sexes.
Generally, no.
Yeah.
A slight bow or maybe placing your hand over your chest after a handshake with someone of the same sex is the polite way. It's about respect and maintaining propriety.
It sounds like a lot of rules, but the key is context, right?
Exactly. They aren't just there to make things difficult for tourists. They're part of the fabric of Brunei's Malay Islamic culture. If you embrace them as a way to show respect, it actually deepens the travel experience.
Okay, let's shift gears to the practical side of things. Getting around Brunei, you mentioned the car conundrum.
Yes. This is a big one for visitors. Brunei has one of the highest car ownership rates globally. Average is nearly 2 cars per person.
2 cars per person. Why so high?
It's a direct result of the wealth and subsidies. Cars themselves are relatively affordable, fewer taxes, but the main reason is the fuel price.
It's famously low, isn't it?
Incredibly low, around 0.45 Brunei dollars per liter. Now, compare that to, say, a bottle of water, which might cost 1 Brunei dollar.
So fuel is literally cheaper than water.
Pretty much. When gas is that cheap, there's just no economic incentive for widespread public transport. Everyone drives.
Which creates a problem for tourists. The transportation reality.
A big problem. Because everyone has cars, taxis are extremely rare. You cannot just flag one down on the street like you do in most of Asia.
So how do you get one if you need it?
You have to book it, usually at least an hour in advance. And here's the crucial tip. Book your return trip at the same time.
Oh, really? Why?
Because if you don't, finding a taxi to get back from wherever you are is incredibly difficult. You could easily get stranded. Public buses, they exist, but they're mostly used by workers and aren't really set up for tourists.
So what's the solution for travelers?
Digital. You absolutely need to download the local ride-sharing app. It's called DART.
DART, not Grab or Uber.
Nope. The big international ones don't operate there. DART is pretty much your only reliable option for on-demand travel if you're not renting a car.
Okay, good to know. What about finding a place to stay? Accommodation?
Needs planning, too. The sources point out there aren't a huge number of hotels, maybe around 49 in the whole country.
And the quality?
A bit mixed, apparently. Many are described as very outdated. It seems like investment in top-tier tourist hotels hasn't kept pace with, say, neighboring countries.
So if you want something modern, choices are limited.
Very limited, maybe only 1 or 2 newly renovated international standard places. So booking well in advance is absolutely essential, especially if you're traveling during peak times.
Got it. And then there's the early dinner rule.
Yes. This catches people out. Most food places, shops, restaurants, even the night markets tend to close pretty early, around 8:30 p.m.
No late-night food stalls or delivery.
Not really. That whole 247 food culture you find elsewhere in Southeast Asia just isn't a thing in Brunei.
So plan ahead for dinner. Eat by 8:20 p.m. or risk going hungry.
That's the advice. It forces you to kind of slow down and sync with the local pace of life, which is quieter, more conservative.
Okay, one handy thing, though, is the currency situation.
Yes, the currency fact. This is actually really convenient. The Brunei dollar, the B dollar, is pegged 1-to-1 with the Singapore dollar.
1-to-1, exactly.
Exactly. It's managed under a currency board agreement, provides a lot of stability.
And practically, what does that mean for visitors?
It means Singapore dollars are widely accepted everywhere in Brunei. You can use them interchangeably. So if you're coming from Singapore or just happen to have Singapore cash, it makes payments really easy. No need to worry so much about exchanging money right away.
Right, so once you've figured out the logistics, what is there to see and do? Let's start with the capital. Bandar Seri Begawan or BSB?
Yeah, BSB. As we said, the first thing you notice is the calm. It's incredibly clean, very tranquil, hardly any traffic noise compared to other capitals. It really does blend that modernity with its historical and royal roots.
And the absolute must-see, the cultural heart, seems to be Kampong Ayer.
Oh, definitely. The floating village. They call it the Venice of the East, but that doesn't quite capture it. It's not a tourist replica. It's a huge living community on the Brunei River.
How old is it?
It dates back over 600 years. It's vast, made up of about 40 smaller villages, over 4,000 buildings on stilts, all connected by, get this, 36 kilometers of wooden walkways?
36 kilometers.
Yeah.
And thousands of people live there.
Tens of thousands. It's a whole ecosystem. They have schools, mosques, shops, clinics, police stations, even petrol stations for the boats, all built on stilts over the water.
And it's modernized, like they have electricity and internet.
Oh, yeah. Air conditioning, satellite TV, internet. It's not primitive at all. Transport within the village is mostly by water taxi little boats that zip around. Costs about 1 Brunei dollar for a quick trip across the river.
Sounds amazing. But I remember reading a note of caution in the sources about walking around.
Yes. Important point. While it's fascinating, you need to be really careful walking on those boardwalks.
Why is that?
Well, reports mention things like moldy or rotting wooden planks, rusty nails sticking out, sometimes even big holes you could fall through. It's genuinely rustic, so you really have to watch your step.
Good advice. Okay, away from the water village, the city skyline is dominated by the mosques.
The majestic mosques, Absolutely. The Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque is probably the most iconic image of Brunei.
Built in the 1950s.
1954, yeah. It's stunning. Tall minarets, and the main dome is covered in real gold leaf.
Real gold.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they used imported Italian marble inside. It sits on this beautiful artificial lagoon. There's even a replica royal barge floating there. It's just gorgeous, especially lit up at night. Considered one of the best in Southeast Asia.
And there's a newer one, too.
Yes, the James Azar Hassanil Bolkiah Mosque. It's actually the largest mosque in Brunei, built in 1994.
Where is that one?
It's in Gadong, slightly outside the main center. It's huge and quite different visually. Lots of beautiful blue and white tiles, grand staircases, and this amazing stained glass dome ceiling. Shows a more modern take on Islamic architecture, but still incredibly grand.
And understand the power behind all this. There's the Royal Regalia Museum.
Right, housed in this cool building with a big dome. Inside, it's basically the Sultan's treasures on display.
What kind of...
Elaborate golden chariots used for coronations and parades, gifts received from other world leaders, crowns, jewels, ceremonial weapons. It gives you a real sense of the monarchy's history and grandeur. A must-visit to connect the dots.
Okay, so that's the city. But most of Brunei is actually rainforest, right?
Vast amount. Something like 70 to 80% of the country is still pristine, undeveloped rainforest, which points to huge ecotourism potential.
Where's the main spot for that?
Ulu Temburong National Park. It protects a chunk of what's considered the oldest rainforest ecosystem in the world. Incredible biodiversity.
And they have that canopy walkway.
They do. It's a network of suspension bridges strung high up in the trees, gives you these amazing, slightly dizzying views over the forest canopy.
What kind of wildlife might you see? I read about a giant flower.
You might see the rafflesia, yeah, the world's largest single flower, famous for its size and unique smell.
Right. But the big animal star is the monkey.
The proboscis monkey, absolutely. Nalus larvatus, they're endangered and really unique to Borneo.
So the ones with the big noses?
The males are, yes, very distinctive, large, floppy noses. They live in the mangrove forests and along the rivers. Seeing them, often on a river cruise, is a real highlight for nature lovers. Shows how Brunei is this important natural sanctuary.
So it's incredible. But getting there... Is it easy?
There's the logistical challenge again. Accessing these remote areas isn't always straightforward.
Hard to find tours.
It can be. Finding organized tour companies might take a bit of research, or if you hire a private driver to take you out towards the park area, it can be quite pricey, maybe around 100 Brunei dollars. It's still very much a off-the-beaten-path kind of ecotourism experience.
All right, let's talk about food. Bruneian cuisine, what's it like?
It's a really interesting mix. You get Malay influences, obviously, but also Chinese and unique local indigenous flavors. It reflects its location.
And the national dish is something pretty unusual, right? Embuyat.
Embuya. Yes, you have to try it. It's central to their food culture. It's basically this sticky, gooey paste made from sago palm starch.
Sago, like in pearls.
Same plant, but this is the pure starch. On its own, it doesn't taste of much. It's quite neutral. The magic is how you eat it.
How do you eat it?
You use these special two-pronged bamboo utensils, almost like joined chopsticks, called shandas. You twirl the sticky embuyat around the shandas.
Yeah.
And then you dip it into this very flavorful sauce. Usually it's sour and spicy, maybe with some fish or fruit in it. And you don't chew it. You sort of swallow the blob whole.
Swallow it whole. Interesting texture.
It is. And it's usually eaten communally, shared from a big bowl. It really symbolizes togetherness, family meals.
Cool. What about everyday food? Like quick and easy stuff?
That would be nasi katak. It's the local fast food.
Right.
Super simple, super cheap.
What is it?
Just white rice, a piece of fried chicken, and a scoop of spicy sambal chili sauce. You find it everywhere, costs next to nothing. Essential fuel.
And for special occasions, something fancier.
Then you might have rendang. You find variations across the region, but Bruneian rendang is fantastic.
That's the slow-cooked beef dish.
Exactly. Beef simmer for hours in coconut milk and this complex mix of spices until it's incredibly tender and rich. It's a real celebration dish.
Where's the best place to try all this local food?
Definitely the night markets. The Gadong night market is probably the most famous one.
Why the markets?
The food is incredibly cheap, really high quality, and you get a huge variety. One source mentioned getting basically 3 meals worth of food plus drinks for about $6 US. It's the best way to eat like a local affordably.
Sounds great. Moving to cultural events, what are the big celebrations?
The most important one by far is Hari Raya Idul Fitri. That marks the end of the fasting month, Ramadan.
Big family time.
Huge. Family reunions, everyone wears traditional clothes, lots of visiting houses, special foods. It's a major holiday.
And isn't there something unique that happens at the palace during Hari Raya?
Yes, this is extraordinary. For 3 days during Hari Raya, the Istana Nurul Iman, the Sultan's massive palace, is open to the public.
Seriously. Anyone can go in.
Anyone, citizens, tourists, you can go inside, see parts of the palace, and even get a chance to personally greet the Sultan and members of the royal family. It's an incredible gesture of connection between the monarchy and the people. Unheard of elsewhere, really.
Wow. What other big days?
National Day is a big one, too, on February 23rd. Celebrates their independence and achievements. Lots of parades, military displays, students marching, fireworks. Big show of national pride.
So all this tradition and strong values, how does it play out in daily life, like in schools?
Well, one key aspect highlighted in the sources is gender segregation in education.
Still happens.
Yes, it's quite common for schools, right, from primary level up through university to be separated by gender or at least have separate classes.
By you that.
It's seen as a way to uphold those traditional Islamic values regarding modesty and appropriate interaction between the sexes. It's a conscious choice to maintain that cultural standard.
Okay. And one last really specific social regulation,
Yeah.
the rules around polygamy.
Yes. Legally, like in many Muslim-majority countries, the law allows a man to have up to 4 wives.
But there's always a but.
There's a huge but in Brunei's case. The conditions are incredibly strict, making it very, very rare in practice.
What are the conditions?
2 main ones. First, he absolutely needs permission from his existing wife or wives. That's standard. But the second one is the big hurdle.
Which is?
He has to prove to the government with a sworn statement that he has the financial means and the emotional capacity to treat all his wives perfectly equally in every single respect for their entire lives.
Perfectly equally. What does that mean in reality?
It's interpreted very literally. If one wife gets a new car, all the other wives must get a new car of the exact same value at the same time. New furniture for one, same for the others. Equal time, equal resources, equal everything.
That sounds financially and emotionally impossible for most people.
Exactly. It's designed to be an incredibly high bar, protecting the rights and dignity of all wives involved. And there are serious legal consequences if he fails to maintain that perfect equality.
Like what? Prison time. Potentially up to 20 years if found negligent or unequal in his treatment. So the sheer commitment required means almost no one actually exercises this right, even though it's technically legal. It's a powerful deterrent.
Okay, so let's wrap this up with the bottom line for anyone thinking of visiting. Despite all the talk of wealth, is Brunei expensive for travelers?
Surprisingly, no. It's actually quite affordable, especially when you compare it to nearby Singapore, for example.
Really? What's the cost of living like?
Pretty manageable. If you were staying longer, a one-bedroom apartment in the center of BSB might cost around $450 to $550 US a month.
Okay.
And overall monthly expenses for one-person food, local transport using DART, utilities you could probably live comfortably on, $1,000 to $1,200 US.
And eating out?
Also cheap. Inexpensive local restaurants might charge just $3 or $4 for a good meal. And like we said, the night markets are incredibly budget-friendly. You can eat well without spending much.
Good to know. What about visas for U.S. citizens? It's easy for short trips. U.S. citizens don't need a visa for tourist stays under 90 days.
Okay, but longer stays.
If you're planning to work, study, or live there, then yes, you absolutely need to arrange the correct visa beforehand. That involves getting supporting documents like invitation letters or proof you can support yourself financially.
Right. So summing it all up, who is Brunei for? What kind of traveler would enjoy it most?
I think the sources paint it clearly as an off-the-beaten-path destination. It's ideal if you enjoy exploring unique cultures, seeing incredible architecture like the mosques, and experiencing a place defined by deep religious traditions and, well, that massive royal presence.
I'm not a party destination.
Definitely not. It's a place that encourages you to slow down, observe, be respectful of local customs. You trade the hustle and bustle for tranquility, cheap petrol, and these amazing contrasts, the gold domes versus the simple wooden houses of Kampong Air.
Yeah, that contrast is really striking. The Sultan's immense wealth, the quietness of the streets, the strict rules. It all makes for a really unique travel experience.
Yeah.
A study in contradictions.
It really is. Brunei seems to have found this unique way to balance its oil wealth with its traditions. It provides incredible cradle-to-grave security for its citizens,
Free housing, healthcare, education.
all funded by oil, while maintaining very strict social controls. Which leads to a final thought, maybe. Given that stability, that security, that abode of peace, what's the ultimate value or perhaps the cost of achieving that through such centralized control and specific social rules?
Hmm, something to think about. A unique kingdom indeed.